Hi, James.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, bro?
Doing well.
Excellent. That's very strange to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah, I've just seen us.
yeah. Where are you
Seen
in
a lot.
Canada?
Pardon?
Are you in Canada?
Washington, in England, northeast England.
Oh, England.
Yeah.
How's it
Love
over there?
reaches far and wide.
Yeah, how's England?
Yeah, it's doing all right. A bit, what would it called? A bit closed-minded still at times. Everyone's still getting used to quite a lot of things, especially myself. Getting used to a lot of these energies and different perceptions of life and ways of looking at life and understanding it, and then trying to integrate it into my family and show my family how to do these things as well. While everybody else thinks I'm nuts. So it's quite fun.
Yeah, when did your symptoms start of your shift?
I had quite a profound experience last year where I believed I was just switched on. It wasn't like a build-up, it was just like bang, switch on. Whoa, what's this? Why am I now looking at the world like this? It was very intense, very profound, but I got my head around it, I rebalanced myself, and I integrated it into my life. We're going smoothly now. A lot more balanced and a lot better. Obviously listening to yourself and listening to the messages that always come along just at the right time, amazingly.
Oh, around what time last year was this?
About a year ago, about bang on a year ago. I would say about July last year.
Oh, July. Okay.
Yeah. Then I've seen shadow people, seen digital green little girls. I've seen some quite profound things. Like how can you explain it? But if it's there and I can see it, then it must be true. It's my truth.
Yeah, I posted in a group that it was just like a public group for a city out here, and it wasn't a spiritual group. And I posted about these ascension symptoms, and I tried to make it as least spiritual as possible, make it kind of more scientific about energetic shifts, the sun, and stuff like that. And I got my ass handed to me. Like everybody just said that I was bipolar, or I was in a cult, or I was schizophrenic, all sorts of stuff. So, because it takes us a while to actually not believe that we're crazy and not believe that we just have some sort of dysfunction. So I can only imagine for other people, if they don't have any of these experiences, they have no reference point, so they just immediately chalk it up to craziness.
Yeah. I mean, it's like walking into a dark room and going, well, where do I go? Do you know what I mean? It's very like, well, where am I going? And then all of a sudden you kind of start feel around and you go, well, what's this and what's that? And then it's just a matter, to me, it's a matter of finding out what it's not. This is an experience of what it's not. I found out it's not that, so it might be this, and it might be this, and you keep on going around and trying to find what it isn't, to find out what it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like walking through the dark, I guess. But it's
with faith and trust, though.
Yeah, but from our vantage point, it's as if we had always been walking through the dark, and all of a sudden we can see now. And then from other people's vantage point, it's like as if now we're walking in the dark and we can't see. Like, so it's just like they have no choice but to think that we're very limited or confused in our perspective. So I have a lot of people. I have a lot of people that because the terminology I use to describe all of this is a mixture of both science and spirituality and pseudoscience, and it all kind of comes together. I'm trying to give people a reference point to bridge it together so that everybody can understand. But a lot of people that are very left-brained, usually some of the older community, but even some of the younger community, they instantly will pick it apart as, oh, just some new age pseudoscience, like some throwing some positive, or they call it a word salad. I have a lot of people that say that I just have a giant word salad, and it's because they cannot resonate at the energy that I'm feeling. There's people that just literally click. When I describe it, they just click and they know what I'm talking about. And there's other people that only view the world through their mental labels and their constructs, and they haven't let go of yet. So it's interesting to have people see it as they do. Because for me, after you kind of start going through this transition, you completely forget that other people won't understand. You're like, it's all of a sudden becomes very real to you. So then you see the world this way, and then when other people don't see it that way, you're like, there's people out there that really think the world's still this way.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And you find yourself trying to explain it. If you just look at this, and if you just see this, and if you can just connect that with that, it'll be all right. It's like, it's pointless.
Yeah,
they don't have the same reference points.
Yeah,
so,
they won't connect it.
You know what I mean?
They'll call it a pseudoscience, but the thing is the physicists have already discovered that there's a very different worldview that's emerging out of our understandings, but it hasn't hit the mainstream yet because the overall science community doesn't want to drop the idea of that we're just physical particles bouncing off of each other. They can't let go of the idea of physicality. So they don't want to jump into the quantum field one yet because the implications are showing that we are in a vast conscious field, and that the implications of that show that basically you can't hurt another person, you can't hurt the earth without hurting yourself, and so then it brings in accountability for our actions, and it has to emerge because there's people that are in high levels and even scientists that are going to be going through this spiritual awakening. So when you have a physicist, a high level engineers going through a spiritual awakening, they're going to use all of their knowledge and power for their shift and for a positive change and their influence. Even we have celebrities now that are having awakenings, and they're seeing profound truths. So Jim Carrey, one of them.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what makes me laugh. People think I've like sort of taken up a new thing to be into, when really all I'm doing is looking for truth.
Yeah.
And looking for more of what I'm like and more of me. And the more I find out about myself, the more the rest of the world around us settles down. It becomes calmer and integrated, as if like, I don't know, as if I have like that resonance. People around us that come into my field now seem to just go really cool. You're really calm and you're really chilled out, you're really relaxed. And I'm saying, yeah, well, it's took quite some work to get to this because I had a time where I went through a lot of drugs and things like this, so I was quite depressed and things like that.
Yeah, me too.
And to me, I think you have to go through these things. These are what make you. In Japan and China, when there was a pot cracked, they used to fill it with gold and say it was more valuable because it had been cracked. So that makes sense that if once you crack it, or once you've opened up a bit to a different worldview, that you are more valuable, and like not to the world, but like to yourself. You've made more sense to yourself, and you've like proved it to yourself of what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what you call it? I'm most definitely trying to put spirit and science together. Get spirits, get science. What connections can we make? How can we put it together? Put it this way, put that, we twist that, we have a look at this and have a look at that. And I think it's an amazing self-discovery adventure.
It is, and it's once I was able to let go of my identification with words or with concepts, because I actually started writing a book that was basically going to be called A Conceptual Life, Internally Building Your Outer Reality. And in it, my epiphany, my discovery was that the whole entire world we know is founded on concepts of the human mind, and that we cannot create our reality synchronistically because our concepts are blinding us to truth. We have one person has a concept and another person has a concept. Neither of the concepts actually hint at the reality of something. They're just a concept about it. And both of them disagree, even though they may truthfully be experiencing the same thing. They've made a concept, and the concepts disagree. And so through that realization, I realized that the falsity and all of the problems in the whole entire world are made out of concepts or conceptual living instead of feeling, and instead of like really going in and looking with your feeling. And I've noticed that basically that discovery has been proven over and over again by people taking my words or my concepts that I give, one description of many that could be used to be describe what's happening, and they turn that into who I am and everything that I represent. Like if I describe, right now we have shifting energies, and then there'll be somebody that'll be like, well, everything isn't just energy, and energy is all those new age people, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm just using the word energy as a description. I'm not telling you that there's no other validity to anything. I'm not saying that there's no love and there's no emotion. It's just energy. It's just like there's a description. And so it's like, how do we bridge the
It's
gap?
all the same, isn't it? Yeah, it's all the same because to me, God, love, spirit, energy is all the same thing.
Yeah, but the thing
It's all
is,
exactly the same thing.
you have people that are so identified with God or the Creator needing to be something that is above us, and we need to be like meek below it. That if we say that God is energy to somebody, they find that offensive, and they feel the need to defend. Oh, God is not energy. God is so much more than that. Energy it is. And it's like, no, I'm not belittling your God by saying it's energy. I'm literally describing it as a field of consciousness, a field of expansion.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried to imagine the world of what it would look like if it was all energy, and it would just be an ocean of different peaks and lows and highs and peaks and lows, and the whole world would just look like that. I honestly believe that we've got probably 7 billion people on the planet who all perceive what their truth is, and they all could be right. You could just be right with your truth, and he's right with his truth, and this is where we're going wrong. That everybody could be right with their percent, instead of well, you're wrong, and you're wrong. Well, hold on, you don't know because you're not looking through my eyes.
One of the biggest, the biggest false belief system is that the idea of everybody being born once, you have choices to make, and based off those choices, you get judged, and that judgment is based on whether you're worthy or not to be in God's presence. Yeah. That is that belief system is the foundation of most religions, and it is the foundation of most suffering, because we believe that we're not worthy, or that we have gone through too many experiences that we don't deserve God's presence or something like that. We don't deserve love or connection with the Creator.
But if a parent loved you unconditionally, then why would they judge you?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm just saying there are people that will violently fight to the death over this belief system that you think you can just do whatever you want and you think that everything's okay. Well, you're gonna find out one day, and they'll even get satisfaction out of the idea of somebody going to hell. Like, oh, you're gonna see that I'm right when you go to hell. Ha ha ha. I'm like, that doesn't sound very loving at all. Like, that sounds. It's like they enhance their ego off of the idea that they've found the truth and you haven't. To me, I grew up Christian, so to me the idea of knowing that any one person in the world is going to burn in hell for eternity because they didn't happen upon the correct belief system is sad, and it hurts my heart. And people are like, oh well, give it to God. God will deal with it. Regardless, I was told as a Christian that every single Muslim is going to go to hell, and there's no way that my heart could ever validate that. It's like, okay, God, these are human beings that are born, that are taught their whole entire lives against Christianity, and they're going to go to hell because they were born over there. They don't have the same beliefs that we do.
Just ridiculous.
And once you can really look into that and realize it doesn't make any sense, then you start validating everybody's belief systems. And I feel that there are people that are religious that are a lot less worthy of. For some people that are religious, I don't know how they would want to go to heaven when they're filled with so much anger and hate.
Yeah. Totally agree. What you call it? There's so many people there, like in churches and things like that. These are supposed to be your sanctuary. And then people, you're being judges going to church, whether you can go to that group or not. It should be an open arms sort of thing where, yes, everybody's welcome, not just you, or you're okay, but you're not. You can't have that in an unconditional way. Do you know what I mean?
It's all going to come to the forefront in a culmination of spirit and science. And when those unite, the implications will be significant. But
I can't wait.
Those that are deeply holding on to very stiff religious ideas, they're basically going to see this uniting as like the devil. They're going to think that the devil is. I literally know people that think that the devil has taken over my consciousness, and I'm basically walking with demons because I've left traditional views.
Normal way of thinking.
And so it's like,
at the end of the day, if you can see the devil's entered me, then he must be a happy devil, then. And he must be very calm and balanced. Do you know what I mean? Because the only thing that I seem to be putting out is, look, I mean, yes, I do. I'm not perfect. I still have my little moments and that. But at the end of the day, I'm still very, 95% trying to put out the right vibes all the time because I realise what I put out, I want to get back. So if everyone's me, what's the point of harming me? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and part of my awakening, I realized that no matter there's infinite worlds, and no matter what world you go into, everybody looks like you, and they take on the same form as you, and they are actually a reflection of the collective consciousness that you are currently in. So they're just a representation of that. So every relationship you meet, every person you meet, is basically something that you have actually built in your own consciousness to give you basically a message or have you learn something specific. And a lot of times, one of the biggest mistakes I see us awakening souls do is trying to avoid people that we don't resonate with. Like violently trying to avoid people, or I see some people basically trying to rid their lives of anybody that isn't like them. And I feel like in doing that, you can do yourself an injustice because you basically turn yourself into duality, and you turn yourself into like, oh no, it's one of those people again. I don't want to get away from them. And you start turning into what the religions were doing, which was, the non-believers. It's like, oh, this person has 3D emotions. I don't want to be around this person.
Yeah, I was laughing at that.
We definitely have to choose our battles. So we can't, if something is draining our energy like over and over again, then, we can happily part ways. But when I see people that are saying like, anybody on my wall that isn't in 5D consciousness, then I'm deleting you. Like, I think that just sounds harsh. It sounds kind of, for people that don't understand what that means, it just sounds like weird, like cultic.
It's another judgment system.
Yeah, we go from we go from a judgment system of believer and non-believer to high vibration and low vibration. It's just the same dualistic thinking that switched views. And like a lot of people, they say like, oh, well, it's really easy to take all the belief systems from all the different religions and just kind of jumble them together. It takes no accountability. Ha ha ha! You guys are just taking the easy route. Yeah. This is not the easy route. This is
definitely not.
The easy route was when I had I think the internet had an issue. Oh, we're good. The easy route was sticking with a homogenous group that labeled themselves something that I could be a part of and I can identify with. That was the easy route. But at a certain point, there was no ability to do that anymore. It wasn't who I was anymore. I couldn't identify with something that didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I've had loads of things about this ascension. At one point, I thought I was leaving the planet, and I thought I was some great religious body. And then I went past that, and I thought, you know what it is? It's an awakening. It's like waking up to yourself. And as soon as you start instead of blame that way, educate this way. That's how you free yourself, I believe. And then if you can integrate that into children, I mean, I was saying this to my partner Tracy the other day. I was like, this from like 5, 6, 7, 8. How great would you be as a kid? You would just be like a star. Just manifest. Well, what's that? I want to experience that. And I want to experience that. And I want to go and do that. And it would just be like you'd just be firing up all the time. Do you know what? Instead of this mundane sort of, I want to go on the Xbox and I want to do this. And my kids don't have Facebook, don't have like phones and things like that. I just want them to go. I want them to go outside and play, and kids should do. Instead of what people believe what kids should do nowadays. But it has been quite a challenge to go through this and be a dad at the same time. It's been quite hard to integrate both.
Yeah, my fiance is pregnant.
Oh no, excellent, congratulations, mate. I just found out today, I don't know if you saw on my page, that I'm having another little boy.
Oh wow, congrats.
So that's 3 boys I've had.
Congrats, man. But yeah, I was gonna say what you were saying during your awakening. I actually wrote it in the book that I had started. That after an awakening, you begin creating different sense of selves that constantly evolve. And at first you say, okay, I'm an awakened person. And you say, okay, I'm a prophet. I'm a gifted soul. And then you're like, okay, I'm a light worker. I'm I'm God. I don't know. You start changing all your sense of self to all these things, and what happens is a lot of people get stuck in one of those stages, and sometimes they don't leave. So their awakening literally stops with them identifying with themselves as like a prophet or something. And so there has to be a balance of where you go up in the awakening and you can kind of come back down to your humanity a little bit, and you can be more human. I know people that literally won't have a conversation with you if like, oh, I don't speak in those words because those words represent duality, and I don't represent duality, I represent oneness. And I feel like people like that, they're almost unapproachable because they've gotten lost in the stage of oneness and they haven't come back to their humanity and the ability to connect. So it's like a lot of people get stuck in one stage and then they begin denying other people their belief systems. Another person is having just a conversation and they use 3D terms. It doesn't mean that they're like low vibration people. It means that that's just how they speak. That's just how they were raised, and you can just have a conversation with them and love them regardless.
Yeah, they're at their stage that they need to be at their time. There's no judgment. They're just ready to grow at their rate. At the end of the day, you can't force a flower to grow faster. It just grows at its own rate. And I think what would be really nice is that if we could start at a place that could help people who are just waking up.
Look,
we've been there, we've done it. Come here, look, we'll give you some love, we'll help you.
That's what I intended to start, was my awakening. I actually got it like downloaded into me. It was called Nature's Light Foundation. And I wanted to have it where we had like organic food and healthy water and a place for people to come during their awakening, possibly for like the second wave. It's something I really want to start, Nature's Light Foundation, because the idea is it doesn't represent me, it represents nature's light, so the light of nature. And so I started that GoFundMe a while back. But
definitely. How's your channeling going? See, I've never had that experience of like, like what's it called, my reincarnation self, or my dual self, or what do you call it again? Wait, is it? I'm not sure who you call him again. Andronus?
Andronus, yeah.
Yeah, Andronus. So is he a simultaneous incarnation of you, but like obviously in the future?
Future and linear time, but technically it's current. But what we have, he's as much as me as you are me in a sense. So he's actually a whole different personality. But basically, the vibration of my being is in the same domain as his, and probably a whole myriad of other family members or people that are in my soul group that I can connect with. And the thing is the physical brain will never be able to make sense of it. The physical brain will always think it's weird.
Yeah.
So
well, go on.
No, go ahead.
So I've always said that what's happened to me is I've went from my left brain right into my right brain, and then back to living in the middle, which is your cerebrum colossum. And I just now sit there, and every time something happens, I go, well, I'm going to use my left or my right, which or even I use both answers at times. Then you just use them and put them together. And to me, that's balanced. It feels like I'm being taken through each emotion, each polarity of each emotion, and you keep on going round in a circle like this through every emotion to find out what it is and what it's not. And then at some point, you go back to the start and you put it all together as a whole.
It's fascinating.
I mean, obviously, my Reiki's helped because that's made me see a lot of connections through the energy. How we're connected to the earth, how we're connected to this, how we're connected to each other. It just, the plethora of connections is unreal. It just doesn't stop. It's just the depth, and it's going deeper and deeper, and I just can't stop digging.
Yeah,
it does get addicted.
For me, my most significant shift was February of 2015, and then for the next 3 months, I was non-human basically for like 3 months of my life, where I couldn't connect with my memories. I couldn't connect with who I used to be. And my whole entire perception of everything was timeless and interdimensional. And I basically went through like a time of basically, like you had said, where I was going through different levels of layering my experience and understanding it through abstraction or through linear thinking, like left and right brain. And There's no way on earth that I wouldn't even be able to describe it in a whole book. It was so intense and so different than normal experience. I was channeling the earth. I could hear the earth speak to me like through words, and it was appreciating the expansion that was taking place and giving me directions on how I could spread the love within me to other people. And I, like with channeling and Dronus, I never once sat down and tried to channel. I never was like, oh, I'm going to go attempt to channel. I literally just felt an energy charge in my body. And that energy charge, I was like, I need to like sit down. I need to figure out what this is. And I sat down and I could feel it trying to speak. And so then I just let the words come out and I filmed it. And then when I listened to it back, I was like, that was really weird. I was like, that didn't sound like me at all. And then I can do it at any time. I just sit down and let it happen.
Yeah, that sounds a bit like the Reiki. It's like obviously with Reiki, you get attuned like a piano because all your energy centers are attuned to your 7 keys. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And being attuned to me is like when you tune a piano. So when you're out of tune, then you need to be tuned again to bring back in line, to bring your balance in, to bring your harmonics in, to bring your rhythms in. And obviously it's all connected, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just love the depth of it. I love the just all of it. There's times I just sit here and not like just have tears of joy me. Do you know what I mean? Just how beautiful it is, how the hands just going up, how it's just transcending out, how it's happening. And it like obviously like about 6 months ago I was like, everyone's gonna think I'm crazy and this is never gonna happen. And then within about 6 months you're seeing people come out, people who would staunch against it, coming out and saying, oh, have you seen this? You know, have you seen this? So it's happening. It's definitely happening. At what rate it's going to happen, I'm not sure, but it's most certainly happening and it's building. It's building, you can feel it building.
As each person awakens, that we're changing the whole entire, energetic field of Earth. And so whether we're aware of it or not, those around us may not be reflecting back this awakening, but if one person awakens in California, another person awakens in Florida, and another in Texas, and then another in England, and then they're coming up every day after day. We have more and more people awakening. And like you had said, I had many times where I literally just had like tears of overwhelming joy because I could feel the whole entire being of Earth in my body. And it was just like so much love, and I witnessing all the people that were awakening and all the stuff like that is just like, wow, this is huge right now. And then I would go from that to having like intense negative emotions and stuff like that we're purging out. So it was this like constant cycle. Think it froze.
Oh, there we go.
All right, I think we're back.
Yeah, there we go. What were you saying, sorry?
Just basically how it went from feeling the intense love from the collective, and then also feeling the intense suffering from the collective. And so like it was like, it feels crazy at times to wake up, one day and feel so much love that you're feeling like an overflowing of like euphoria and positive emotion and connection to everybody. And then that same very day, feeling intense grief and intense sadness and feeling intense loneliness in the same day. And it's like a lot of people would just chalk it up to, the bipolar, or they're having a breakdown, or life isn't going well. But the sustained nature of my experience, it was such a sustained state. I went through a 2-week period where I did not experience a single negative emotion, and I slept like 5 hours a night, and I just was constantly on a sick one. Like I felt like I was constantly on like drugs, like on stimulants for a 2-week period of time. And I felt great. It was absolutely wonderful. and so it was just like, it was such a sustained feeling of clarity that there was no way I could chalk it up to just like emotions changing or my adrenals or hormones.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like at times like as life goes slower? As if it slows right down at times, you're like, whoa, it's like as if life's happening, it's like stopped and life's happening around us. As if it's in like, we're not matrix, but like it's as if it slows down. You're like, whoa, why is everything going so slow?
Yeah, and recently I've noticed it's slowed down a lot. It was a lot more intense in the beginning of the year, and then I feel like it's come to a very intense slow time. But I feel like this is a time, of purging and stuff like that, because I know that there's going to be a huge shift by the end of the month. Today I definitely feel a different type of energy as far as like a weird clarity feeling, a lightness in the body. I'm excited to see what's ahead of us in the end of this month. I hear, there's so many things going around, Wave X and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
whatever happens.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens.
When I have a lot of people that are, very doubting of all this stuff, and they're like, oh, it's going to be nothing. Those people aren't feeling anything at all. So, of course, I would be saying what they're saying if I wasn't already going through all of this. So when you start feeling all these shifts in your own body, you stop really like if you read an article and it's very entertaining, like Wave X and stuff like that, you entertain it as a possibility because you already know that what your own daily experience is something that people would consider to be fake or not real. So the doubt kind of falls away, but I don't think the physical mind is ever going to actually fully understand any of it. It's just along for the ride.
Yeah, I don't think you have to. I think that what I would have done was that my mind, my mind can't understand the feeling that my heart is.
Exactly.
My mind can't comprehend what this is feeling at times. It can't put it into words. Because there is no words for it. It's above words, or do you know what I mean? It's more expansive.
Beyond concepts.
To try and describe it inward would do with a dishonesty.
Yep.
Sorry?
Yeah, trying to once you put it into words, you put it into concepts, and then you lose it in translation because a lot of people, they hear your words, it just sounds like I don't know what that means. Sounds good. Like, if you tell somebody I communicate with an extraterrestrial, but don't worry, he's not an extraterrestrial. He's a simultaneous incarnation of myself that's actually in linear future. You're like, oh, it just sounds absolutely nuts. So I don't know. I don't blame anybody. Oh, I think it froze again. Yo.
Hello?
Hello?
Still can't see you, but I can hear you.
Oh, for sure. I can see you.
Do you think we could ever get this down to a really simple way to kind of go through ascension? With diet, a little bit of diet, obviously a bit of maybe Reiki to bring the soul into line. So it'd be mind, body, and soul. Diet would sort out the body. Reiki would sort out your soul. What would sort your mind out? Maybe counseling.
I definitely think that giving the physical brain, giving the mind an understanding that what it's going through is a positive thing and it's not a negative thing is vital. To me, you can't really put it into a box and say, here's an ascension package and this will help you get through, because everybody's path is so unique. Those that are in the spiritual communities and have been for a long time, they're going to have a vastly different experience of ascension than somebody that has gone from one religion to another, to an atheist to a spiritual awakening. So that there's I know, for example, some people that have been in the spiritual community and the New Age community for a long time, they may be even bigger doubters of those that have no belief systems that they've entertained.
Yeah.
And so it's.
I don't have a belief system. I think it's organically grown all the time. It's changing and adapting, and there's nothing like fixed. You know what I mean? There's a few things I like to keep fixed now and again, but usually they disintegrate and end up somewhere else. It was just that I needed that belief at that time to move on. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Each new understanding is something you wake up from.
Yeah, most definitely. Go on, sorry.
Sharing our experience. Those of us in the first wave that are going through this now, the biggest thing that we have is our own experience and what we're gaining as truths. A key example of that is, do you ever watch Matt Kahn?
I don't, but I've heard of him.
Yeah, Matt Kahn is the epitome of being able to take his experiences and share it with the collective in a way that is helps others to understand their own shift without needing to project any type of specific belief system on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you know, do you know a Cody Briot?
No, I don't.
Yeah, because he's very in much with Matt Kahn, and he's exactly on the same level as well, like kind of the stuff that we're doing. I think I've got about 4 or 5, maybe 6 people who I know that's about the same, like talking about the same things and kind of being around the same area where it's not a forced thing where you have to believe this. It's like freedom to understand it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's definitely, I feel like there's going to be like more communities popping up where people are off the grid and having communities of less rigidness. I really want to find one of those communities or create one. In my awakening, I left my job because it just wasn't fitting anymore. And I just honestly just said, whatever I lose or whatever happens from me not having a job, that'll be part of my mission and part of my testimony. That I knew I had to expand, and I knew I had to create videos and help our collective. And so I just did that, and so it's been pretty rough going through all of that and being judged and not having money, but through it all, I feel I've ended up in a place that will help. I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and so
I know that. There's times I think that I'm not, and then something will click in. I'll go, yeah, exactly where I need to be. I mean, what's even funnier is kind of I thought I just woke up last year. But when I've been listening to songs that I really liked when I was younger, they're saying exactly the same things as what the songs that I'm recognizing now. So it's always been here, but I was not aware of it.
Yeah, I've noticed that how especially music that I've listened to in the past, never interpreted it in a way of awakening. I realize that's what a lot of these songs are talking about awakening.
Yeah, talking about God, talking about love, talking about. If you changed, like even some Chris Brown songs, you changed that love to, instead of there's a one with Superhuman with Kevin Hilson.
Yeah.
And if you changed them from singing to each other to about love and God, it fits perfectly. And there's a lot of songs like this.
The song that's on the radio, it's Radioactive. I don't know if that's the name of it, but the first line is I'm waking up. And then the chorus is I'm radioactive, which is talking about the change in frequency of our bodies and how we're emitting light. And then he says, "Welcome to the new age. Welcome to the new age." Yeah. So
I like that song.
He's talking about his own awakening, and it plays on the radio. I find that fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying it's all about the perception, though. It's a bit like Sixth Sense. It's not until you watch it back the second time do you realise that Bruce Willis was dead, and he was just a ghost. Because the first time you watch it, you don't know, you think he's there all the time. So again, just that slight change of perception is massive at times. It has such an impact on you and everybody else.
Exactly. All right, I think it's
right, mate.
What was that?
Go on, sorry.
No, I think it's.
I was just going to pop off unless you've got some more time. I was just going to shoot off.
If you were in a what?
I was going to make myself a drink, or just go and get some meat. Or do you want to continue?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off now. I'm gonna go eat. My girl just made me a salad.
Yeah, that's no problem at all. It's been really, really good talking to you. It's nice to hear that other people are on the same level at times. You feel quite alone going through this, but it's nice to talk to different people who are on that level. So thank you very much.
Do you mind if I put this on my YouTube?
I wouldn't mind at all, mate. At the end of the day, the more people know, the better.
Awesome. And if you just go ahead and state your name for everybody.
My name is Michael Lovehill, and I love you.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Take care.
Cheers, dude. See you later.
Later.